What's up, everybody, and welcome to Changing of the Hip Hop Guards podcast. Tonight, we have a very special guest, the legendary Chill Rob G. Thank you so much for joining us this evening.
Hey, thank y'all for having me in, man.
No doubt. I'm the journalist Sincere, and that's my partner, Uncle E. We're going to take it all the way back, and then currently what you got going on in 2022 to give everybody a little bit of history as far as your career. For everybody who may not know, or maybe new to you, where were you born and raised?
Born and raised in Jersey City, New Jersey.
Take us back to a day in the life, teenage years, Chill Rob G, Jersey City.
Teenage years, hip hop was the thing. It was the new thing. Everybody was a god, 5%er. We bopping around in our Adidas and Lee suits and Gazelles. And Spoonie G is the hot shit, and what's the name of that label? Sugar Hill Records is popping off in Inglewood, New Jersey. It's kind of far from Jersey City, but we knew that was in Jersey, so that was kind of hype for us. It was like,
Right.
Yeah, we was just trying to get involved, man. You know what I mean? Everybody was rapping. Everybody who you saw your age had a couple of rhymes. So that's how it was going down out there.
Right. Any obstacles you had to endure as a teenager growing up in Jersey?
I mean, not really, man. I had it pretty good. I had it better than a lot of people. I was raised by my grandparents. And, to be honest, they was really Christian. And it was like a lot of church. So I had to go to church with them. But as soon as I got an opportunity to get away from them and get in the streets, that's what I was doing. And, because I'm cool too. I want to be with my friends. So, but not really, man. I mean, they provided a lot for me. You know what I mean? And I saw the difference between my lifestyle and some of the dudes that I was hanging around. So I learned to appreciate that. Even at that time, I knew what was different. You know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah.
So being that you just mentioned about going to church and stuff like that, and you also just mentioned how everybody around that time with 5%ers, were you attracted to or gravitated towards becoming a 5%er or Muslim at that time? Or do you remember around, if anything at all?
I mean, yeah, what it was, like I said, I grew up with my grandparents. So, and they was religious. They from the South. They was from South Carolina, Christian folk. And, Jersey City is, how do I describe it? Jersey City is, it's a lot of things going on in that little town. It's kind of fast paced. So, and you wouldn't know it, if you're moving through there and you don't really know what's going on, you wouldn't know, but it's a lot of things popping off. So like when I walked out of my front door, I could go up to the corner and right there was a little candy shop owned by these brothers, and they was out there with the oils and
Right.
They got the lessons and they want to bring you in. These cats was Muslim. And they was 100% Muslim, but this was around the same time that 5%ers was becoming a thing. So I heard from the Muslims, and then I get to high school, and then my man's would come up, and he got lessons. He got a stack like this, documents. You need to read through this. You need to learn this,
Right.
So I did it. I learned a lot of that stuff. And I could recite it back and forth to whomever. So then I would get into, I was the type of cat, I'd like to get into these debates with the Muslim dudes. And they talking about what they talking about. I'm talking about, and now I got the Christian background. I got the 5% lessons. And now I'm going at these Muslims and whoever else wanted. And that's how, that's what it was like, man.
Right. But what made you gravitate more towards the 5% instead of the Muslim?
It was
just was it like a cooler thing?
It was the cooler thing. It was more edgy, I guess.
Right.
Because look, man, I grew up in this church and I had enough. By the time I was like 16, I'm like, come on, this can't be. So, now I'm in here in the streets, and then they telling me that I'm God. The black man is God. I was like, oh, yeah, all right. So I started listening to that. And, I'm just trying to learn what I can learn. Now, I knew that was kind of extreme for the way that I learned that God, you look at the movies, you look at like the movie like 10 Commandments or something, and God is like splitting the ocean. I knew the black man split the ocean, not just like that, not like magic. But you know, it was intriguing, man. So I got into it.
Gotcha.
Before getting into music and finding your passion, what were some of your earlier influences? What were you listening to earlier on?
What was I listening to? R&B, gospel, funk, a lot of funk records. I was really impressed with George Clinton and Parliament. That was like my favorite group.
Mm-hmm.
You know, Flashlight was like, I wrote Flashlight in my, you know, those little books they give you when you graduate 8th grade. Flashlight was my favorite song. So I was really a huge Parliament fan, OJs. I like that funk stuff. That's what it was. Yeah.
Right. At what point did you start getting involved with the culture? You know, a lot of MCs would say breakdancing, graffiti, DJing even. For you personally, how did you get into the culture?
I more or less took the same path, man. You know what I mean? Like everybody, we did a lot of parties in Jersey City. I didn't mention. It was a lot of block parties, a lot of street parties. We was out in the park. A couple of the schools would open their doors for us on the weekends, so we'd be up in there with the parties. And if you wasn't, everybody was into something. If you wasn't rapping, then you was a vandal. You was out there writing your name on everything you could write your name on. If you wasn't doing that, then you was a dancer. You was breakdancing. So I did a little pop lock and a little breakdancing, spinning here and there. You know, I was writing my name here and there. And then finally, my man's, you know, this is like my best friend back in the day. He happened to see this sign. He was uptown somewhere doing something, whatever, in Harlem. And he walked past a studio where they were trying to get the kids to come in and make your own rap record. It was a sign in the window. He came and put that bug in my ear, and I was like, yeah, make your own rap record. Now, we listened to Spoonie G. We knew all of those rhymes. Everybody else who had a record, we was listening to all of the records. So to do it for yourself, to make up your own stuff, it wasn't that much of a stretch. You know what I mean? And plus, back then, you know, respectfully, it was kind of simple. The lyrics was kind of, it was easy to do. So I knew that I could probably step it up, spice it up just a little bit. You know what I mean? And that's what I did. That's how I got into it.
At what point did you start taking it serious?
I didn't really take it serious until after I met the 45K.
Okay.
Before that, we was doing it a lot because it was so much fun. It was fun. All right. Like me and my man, this dude I'm telling you was my best friend. This dude's name was Mike Ali, and he was a good friend. And almost every day, at least 2 or 3 times a week, we up in his crib. He had DJ equipment. He used to rap too, but he was trash. He couldn't rap. But and really he wasn't that good as a DJ either. But he could keep the beat steady enough that I could get on and I could flow. So we used to make these mixtapes, basically rhyming over whatever record was hot. So I would rhyme over the hot records. He would make the tapes, and then we would hand these tapes out to the different cats that was out there with the loud systems. There was a few of them. Give them the loud systems, so let them rap. Like, you know what I mean? They're riding around, bumping my joints over somebody else's rap. You know what I mean? I'm rapping over somebody else's joint like that.
Right. What type of style were you doing though? Like before you met 45 King, your rhyme style, you know, was it patterned after somebody else, you know, like a Spoonie G type of flow, or what kind of flow did you have?
I don't know. I did my own thing. I wasn't really trying to, you know, I probably had like verses that went on forever because I didn't know anything about song structure. So I would just rhyme until he would cut the record a certain way, and then I just stop, you know, and then I'd start rhyming again over the different beat. I would just go, man.
Right.
I just putting words together that sounded like and saying something that I thought was cool or funny. You know what I mean? Something that attracted chicks' attention. That's what I wanted to do. I wanted to get the females' attention.
So did it change up a lot when you started dealing with the 45 King? Like, did he have to give you any type of structure or tell you, hey, you know, maybe sound a little bit like this?
No. By the time I met the 45 King, okay, so yeah, to answer your question, what was my style like? Like I said, when I started, it was just rhyming, right? Mm-hmm. But I think KRS-One is the MC that made me think, you know, I gotta get because this dude is nice. So I gotta, you know, and it was Criminal Minded came out, and I can't remember what record he did that really made me think, you know, I need to talk about my people. I need to get, you know what I mean? Talk about what's really real for me. So, but that's what happened. Something another from KRS-One put me on that path, and that's how it turned out.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Before meeting Mark the 45 King, was your intentions to be a solo artist, or were you in a group before meeting Mark?
I was in a lot of groups. I was in if we taking it back, I was in maybe 4 different groups as one of the rappers. And I think, the spirit of competition was always strong with me, man. So whatever group I was in, I'm going to be the best rapper in this crew right here. So I didn't say that to them, but they're going to hear it. They're going to find that out.
Right.
I was in 1 or 2 different crews, maybe 3 different crews. And, these guys, it didn't make sense for them to keep rapping. We're getting older now. I think I didn't make the record until I was 21 or 20, something like that. So when we 17, 18, everybody's rapping, but then people move on, you do different stuff. But I kept rapping because I liked it. I liked to do it. It was fun, so I just stayed with it. By the time I met Mark, I had, my notebook. I had one of those black and white notebooks. It was full, but everything wasn't, everything wasn't good enough to be a song. So I tried to pick the best stuff. And then I would say maybe 4 of those songs that came out on that Ride the Rhythm album was already stuff that I was able to peel off from that notebook. And then the rest of it was brand new stuff. But he didn't give me any direction or nothing like that. Mark was really cool with just, he going to make the beat, you going to do the rhymes. And that's how that's going to go.
Okay, nice.
Yeah.
Did anything materialize with any of those groups? Maybe a 12-inch here, or
Nah, we was young, man. We were kids.
Okay.
No, we didn't. We didn't have access. The 45 King was the first time. No, I'm lying. Because in Jersey City, we had a dude named Briscoe. Briscoe used to play the bass for Kool and the Gang. So a crew that I used to run with called Sweet, Slick, and Sly. I wasn't necessarily one of the rappers. It was 3 rappers. And I was cool with all of them. We used to battle for fun. We used to battle all the time with every other rap crew in Jersey City. At this point, I was down. It was me and one other MC, me and my man Jute, and we called ourselves those damn MCs. It was just 2 of them. We was those damn MCs. So we would roll up and we would just start battling. Like, well, I don't care where you at. You in the store, you buying pizza, whatever. We come in, we know that's so-and-so, that's Jimmy Mack. Come on, let's go in. So we go in and we just start ripping them. and that's what we used to do. I got a kick out of that, man. It was a lot of fun, man. You know what I mean? It wasn't that much killing going on. You know what I mean? It was still, Jersey City was a wild place. A lot of different stuff, but it wasn't as bad as it is today.
Right. We touched a little bit on the 45 King. How initially did you guys meet?
A friend from high school, this cat named Lati. Lati and Apache are both from Jersey City. They Flavor Unit members. And Flavor Unit members, they Flavor Unit founders. It was their idea. So look, Lati and Apache, we growing up, they moved to Irvington, New Jersey, was like 1 town over. So I ran into Lati one day and he was like, yo, Rob, you still rhyme? I was like, yeah. He's like, yo, you got to come with me. I know this kid 45 King. I'm like, the dude from the radio? You're like, yeah. I'm like, okay, all right. Yeah, I'm with that. So I go in. We in the 45 King's basement and I'm so fucking hyped. I don't say nothing to nobody, but I'm like, this is the dude with the 45 King special, because Red Alert used to put that little buffer on before he played Mark's beat. It would be like, yeah, that was dope, right? So this is the dude, and I'm in there, and I'm trying to act like I ain't really bugging out, but we in there, and then it's like Mark started putting some beats on, like we got a little cipher going, so. You know what I mean? That's it. It's going around. I told you, the spirit of competition. I couldn't stop. So everybody had said, we was doing this for a couple of hours. We drinking, we smoking, and we rapping. And, dudes ran out of their written joints, but I was built to keep going. So I started coming off the top of the head, and I just kept going. And then the next day, Mark called me up and was like, yo, some of that shit was kind of dope. We should make a demo. I was like, all right, let's make a demo. So, at that point, he was living in I think the house was owned by Vaughn Mason from Roll Bounce. Remember that shit?
Mm-hmm. Right.
So, and Mark's where Mark's studio was. But Vaughn Mason had an actual recording studio in the basement. And so He was going to charge us $30 an hour. I got my little $30 together. You know, Mark got $30. We had 2 hours. He's like, look, have your shit ready. Be ready to go. We only got 2 hours. I'm like, no problem. So I went in there, knocked my vocals out. They did the mix. That was my first demo right there. Just like that.
Very dope. Go ahead.
Yeah, no, I just wanted to ask you. You mentioned about Lati and Apache being the founders of Flavor Unit. Now, is that prior to Latifah even coming into the picture?
We was all there. It was a crew called the RV Posse. That's my man Ramsey. Ramsey was this dude. He was the idea man. He couldn't rap or nothing. He could dance. He could do nothing. But Ramsey had ideas. Okay. So Ramsey wanted to do these shows. He wanted to do whatever he could do to make some money. He wanted to do fashion shows. He wanted to be able to provide entertainment. So he wanted to use Mark as a DJ. And then he wanted to be able to bring rappers in if they wanted to hear, you know, rappers. So the RV Posse was Apache, Latifah, and a couple other cats. And they was all in Irvington, New Jersey. Well, they wasn't all in Irvington. Latifah was from East Orange. They had their own little collective before I came in. Okay. When I ran into Lati and he was like, yo, come to Mark's crib, I guess he already had in his mind that I would be a good fit for the RV Posse. So I actually went in. We had a meeting one night. You know, we all in there joking. We talking about it. And yeah, you in the crew, Rob. You down. All right, bet. I'm down. But the RV Posse, you know, Ramsey had all these ideas, but he didn't put anything into action. So Mark had this connection with Red Alert, where Red was playing his beats, but Red wasn't playing none of the songs with rappers on it. He wasn't playing, you know, Latifah on it. He wasn't playing none of the songs with rappers. Me and Mark did those 2 demos that I just talked about. We handed that to Red and Eureka. I'm going to play these joints. And after that, the door was open. And so everything we gave him, Red was willing to give it a spin. And that's how, you know, we became the Flavor Unit. Now, one of those sessions, like I told you, we used to keep going.
Right.
One of those nights, Patchy and Lati, they went home. They came back like, a couple of days later, and they told us that they the Flavor Unit. It was just them 2. They're going to be the Flavor Unit from now on, because when they came in, they had a whole bunch of new lyrics. We was like, "Yo, where we gonna get all this shit?" Because they worked on it. You know what I mean?
Right.
They became the Flavor Unit. We was like, "Yo, Flavor Unit, that shit sounded kind of good, man." So, bang, we all Flavor Unit, man. Y'all ain't just Flavor Unit by yourself. Come on, man. We all in here. So that's how the Flavor Unit was born. They started it. Them 2.
Wow. So, Lakim Shabazz not in the picture yet.
Lakim came in. Was it Flavor Unit already? I'm going to say Lakim was already there when we became the Flavor Unit. Okay. But I do remember the day that I met Lakim, because it's kind of funny. Because we was up at Mark's crib. We making these demo tapes. Because Mark used to like to put demos together. And he was sending them out to, you know, Russell and whoever else, whatever record label he thought he could probably get something going with. Lakim came in the door. He was already in contact with Mark. I don't know how they met. I'm on the mic. I'm doing my thing, got my little 16 bars, and I'm ready to pass it. So Mark said, "Here, pass it to this kid." So I passed it to my man. So I don't know this dude. Boom, gave him the mic. Lakim did a song. He did a whole record with a hook and all of this. I thought he was going to get a mic right back. I was ready to hear 16 minutes. He did the record. He did a whole song. Song was kind of tight. I was like, "Oh, okay, all right." It's like that. Yeah. So he gave the mic back. I did my next little verse, and then I passed it to Apache. I ain't giving it back to this kid because he gonna do it. Yeah, that's how I met Lakim, man, and he was definitely, somebody that I kept my eye on the whole time.
Yeah. That's dope. That's dope.
Yeah.
So you got this 2-song demo. What labels are you shopping at the time?
I didn't really shop them. We had the 2 songs, and we gave it to Red Alert. And Red Alert played it on air with a white label on it. We made this little acetate. He played that, and Stu Fine got in touch with him. Who's that artist that you heard? Who's the artist you played? I never heard him, but does he have a deal? Red Alert gave Stu Fine from Wild Pitch my phone number. So he called me up. I think we should meet. I liked your sound, blah, blah, blah. And this was the biggest mistake I made because this is the first guy I met in the business. I shouldn't have signed this deal. I ain't know no better. I'm 19, 20 years old. I want to get in. So he liked my stuff. So we had a cheeseburger. He said, I'm going to get a contract together. I'm going to send it. He did that. I was like, oh my God, I got a recording contract.
Right.
Bro, and I signed it, man. I signed it. I got my mans. I had this kid who was a law student. He didn't know nothing about, entertainment law. He didn't know about this contract. He said, yo, man, this is definitely a real contract, but, I can't tell you this and that. Is it fair? He couldn't say. I went ahead. I signed the contract. In my mind, I'm invincible. If this contract sucks, I'm going to get out of it. That's all I do.
Right.
Contract sucked, man. And I couldn't just walk out.
What were some of the details to that contract that, ended up?
It was I remember the words in perpetuity. Okay. What that means is like forever and beyond. Like for all existing time, right? He owns the rights and title to my image, my name, and my recordings for this, this record that we're making. I thought, geez, that sounded extreme. I knew that sounded kind of extreme, but I got to get in. Once I get in, I'm going to be so large. I'm going to have the power to just tell this dude to kick rocks. It didn't work that way, though, man. It didn't work that way.
Right.
But, yeah, I signed a contract.
What? Go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, obviously not, but there wasn't anybody that was around you at that time that could have gave you any kind of advice when it came to that? You know what I'm saying? Like the Lati, Apache.
Lati had already had to deal with Stu Fine, but Stu didn't really start screwing anybody over yet. Not really. So La was like, yo, I'm working with him and blah, blah, and it seemed to be okay so far.
Right.
You know what I mean? So I went forward.
Yeah. Gotcha.
I think, to be honest, that's what really kind of tipped it in Wild Pitch favor because I was on the fence. I wanted to get in, but
Right.
Is this the way? Because I didn't know this guy. This wasn't. I knew that. What record label I was thinking about? Some record label I had in mind. I think it was Columbia Records. I really had Columbia Records in mind for whatever reason. I thought that was the way I was supposed to go. But then here's this guy, Wild Pitch Records. I never heard of that. You know what I
mean? Yeah.
All right, whatever. I went with it.
What are you witnessing at this time with Wild Pitch? Is Gangstar over there, Lord Finesse, Main Source?
Wild Pitch is over. They've been defunct for, I don't know, more than 20 years, I think. Everybody was pissed off.
No, I'm saying at the time where those.
Oh, back then?
Yes.
Lati was signed. I was signed. As far as real hip hop, that's all he had. He had another act. This kid's name was Lamanye. He was terrible. It was absolute garbage. The funny story about Lamanye is I was listening to the Hank Love Half Pint radio show one night. And they played this horrible record because they used to play a lot of garbage over there. So they played this terrible record called The Hardest Beat Around. And I thought to myself, this dude is ridiculous. How he got a deal? If he got a deal, then I'm going to be fine. I'm good. This is terrible. You know what I'm saying? And that's what made me. Lamanye really gave me the confidence because, dude, you're on the radio. I'm going to kill it. I'm going to kill it. That's what I was thinking. Lamanye is on Wild Pitch. I didn't know this guy. About a year later, maybe, is when I met Stu Fine and I ended up on Wild Pitch. Lamanye, goodbye. That was that.
Hey, but we do got to give Lamanye some credit because if not,
yeah, man, he helped me out, man. He helped me out, man. That was a real good confidence boost for me.
Yeah.
Because Jesus, you're terrible. That's what I was thinking.
Was Dope Rhymes one of the songs on the demos?
The demo was Dope Rhymes, and a song called "I'm Chillin'."
Okay. So you press up Dope Rhymes. What kind of reaction do you get once that hits the streets?
I mean, this is at a point when Red Alert is only on the weekends and Marley is also on the weekends. Rap is not big on daytime radio. So when it came on the first Saturday after we gave Red the demo, Mark was after we gave him the demo, Mark was like, "Look, don't tell nobody. Red Alert is gonna play your record. Don't say nothing. Just let them, let people come." I was like, "All right." So I didn't say nothing, but I knew it was going down. So it was Saturday, and we out there, we rocking. I was like, "Yo, put on Red Alert. Red Alert is on." Okay. So we chilling, and then he didn't play the record.
Oh.
Yeah, so I'm glad I didn't say nothing, right? So then I'm kind of a little despondent. I mean, I called Mark. I said, "Yo, he didn't play the record." He said, "Yeah, don't worry about it, man." I was like, "All right, whatever." So he didn't play the records next week, and I wasn't even thinking about it at this point. You know what I mean? I'm not the type of just going to keep on. He didn't play the record, so I forgot about it. Walking down the block, the car went by me, and I heard the joint. I was like, that was me. That was my record right there. I knew it was my record. So I rolled up on the spot. Dudes is in there, and they're playing the record. So they looked at me coming when I came in. Everybody was looking at me. And then my man's rolled up like, "Yo, Rob, that's you." I'm like, "Yeah, man, that's me. Come on, son." So it was a lot of fun, man. It was my first joint. It was on the air. I was so super hyped, man. I was like walking on clouds, man. That's what that was.
So what was the thought process? It's time for your debut album. What was the thought process going into your debut album?
I wanted it to be tight, right? Wanted it to be really good. Obviously, who don't want the joint to be good? But I was putting effort into it. At this point, I was working at Newark Airport as a taxi dispatcher, and I had the midnight to 8 a.m. shift. So I had a lot of time. I had a lot of peace and quiet for 8 hours. Not 8 hours, because maybe the first hour of work, the last flight was coming in, or last couple of flights. And then in the morning, flights was coming in. So I had a good 4 or 5 hours right there in the middle with nothing going on. And that's where that album came out. I was writing to Everybody's Hot Record. That's the beats that I was using to write the album to. Like Mark gave me some beats, but I didn't worry about those. I wanted to know what was hot on the air, and that's what I was writing to. And the thought process was I got to be as good as all of these dudes. That's what it was. I already knew I was, respectfully. I was as good as these dudes, but I need to let them know. You know what I mean? So that's what I was thinking.
Do you have any pressure recording that album? Stu fine, kind of rushing, or he gave you time? You had creative process, creative control over that album?
Yeah, definitely creative. Because he didn't know, and he knew he didn't know. So that was cool. He actually said that. He said that one time. I think he was in Mark's crib, and he said, "Hey, I'm just a white guy down here," and we was like, "Yeah, keep that in mind. Remember that."
Yeah.
He wasn't really concerned with that, but Stu knew he didn't know hip hop like that, and he let us do our thing. So that was cool.
What do you remember most about those recording sessions?
I don't know. That was recording the album. That we was using a 1/4-inch tape, this big fat tape. That tape was super thick, and my man had to go over and cut it with a razor and splice it together with another piece of tape. Just over the processes, the technical stuff really used to amaze me. I would come out and watch them on the mixing board, doing whatever they was doing, getting the sounds right and all of that. I would be in the booth thinking about, damn, this is the same thing Michael and Prince be doing. This is what I was thinking,
Right.
And it was a lot of fun. A couple of nights, it was like a party in there. Because, crew would come through, Flavor Unit come through, different people come through. And, it's a nice atmosphere. And so you're doing your record to support the party. You know what I mean? Right. So that's how that worked out. It was cool.
Was the Courtside Session now out before the album or during the album?
No, it wasn't before the album. Yes, it was definitely out before I finished the rest of the album. I actually went on tour with the Jungle Brothers to perform In Europe, we did a few. Was it? We just the Jungle Brothers, and we was in Europe. And I had Courtside Session and Let the Words Flow. And those were the 2 records that I was performing at that point.
Okay.
But this was while, like, I was on tour with them, but like as soon as I got back, it was like I had to rush to the studio and finish up because I wanted to get this album out. So,
right.
Yeah.
By the time the album came out, what type of response, if any, were you getting from other established artists that were out at the time?
I mean, it was respect, you know. I mean, it's hip hop, man. So ain't nobody gonna come and say, yeah, but you know what I mean?
Right.
Like, yo, yeah, you know, you get a nod, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
This was like, yo, yeah, what's up? Respect. That was about it.
Yeah.
Now though, I mean, rest in peace to Black Rob. He told me that he used to play my joint on repeat regularly. And I was like, well, thanks, man, because I used to listen to your joints all the time, too. I mean, I heard that from a couple other dudes. I'm going to blow everybody up. But, you know, a couple of people at this stage, you know, we older now, so, you know, you can let it out.
Now it's okay
What's up? Okay, you could have told me that back then, man. That would have been cool. But cool.
Right.
Yeah.
Can you touch a little bit on Let the Words Flow being sampled by a group named Snap at the time?
So Snap didn't really, you know, they weren't in existence before the record was made. They came along just to support the theft of the song. So we got Let the Words Flow out. We put out this acapella version of the song. I talked to this guy, I think his name is Terrence Anderson. I can't remember his name right now. But I talked to him recently, a few months ago, and he told me that he's actually the guy who made the beat and did the remix and created the song The Power, which came from Let the Words Flow, that acapella. So, you know, it's still kind of a mystery to me where this stuff came from, who actually brought the record to Europe to get it on Areola Records. And the whole debacle, like, you know, and Arista are just so fucking gangster. They're just gonna take your record and put it out, and they're ready to fight after that. I guess, I don't know, because Wild Pitch never wanted to move on that action. Like, they never wanted to get into the legal battle. So, you know, that's how that kind of got hung up for me, man. And that really soured the relationship with me and Wild Pitch. After they let that go down, you know, this is my ass out here hanging in the breeze. People are looking at me. They ain't looking at, you know, Stu Fine. Wow, no, they looking at Chill Rob G. Yo, this dude got your record. Like, people wanted me to go and kill this dude. So,
I'm
gonna do that. I'm going to jail after that. I ain't trying to go to prison. I mean, you know, duff him up a little bit. But, I mean, come on, man. I ain't going. You know, I just couldn't see the legal way, the clean way to separate him from my music. Couldn't see how to do it. You know, because it was Stu Fine. I needed Stu Fine, who in perpetuity owned all right and title and all this other shit. It was his record, so he needed to make the moves, and he wouldn't do that.
And then they went and got someone, because from what I understand, at first they were literally like lip singing your song.
That is exactly how it went.
And then they went and found what's his name, Turbo B, I believe it is.
Turbo B,
and he came up with some I guess lyrics, but the thing is that he still has sort of like somewhat the same type of voice almost.
He tried it.
Right. It was not exactly, but it was.
I'm sure he got instructions. He got instructions to that end. Like, you know, listen, this is the record that you're remaking. We need some lyrics. We need this format. We need eight, you know, whatever. I can't really think about it. You know, stick to this format. And I need you to try to sound like this guy, because this is a hit. We don't want you to mess this up. Do this, remake this. And so that's what he tried to do.
So I just want to say something with you real quick, since I have the opportunity to speak to you. So me and Sincere were talking a little earlier, right? Now, mind you, how many years has it been since that
30.
came out?
30.
30? Right.
Yeah.
So me and my friends were always a fan of you, right? We loved your music. We used to play it all the time.
Thank you.
And then when that whole time came out where you had that group, you had your song, you had that group going on. Right? So, okay. I said to Sincere earlier, I'm like, yeah, you know, chill out, G. And don't kill me for this, but I said at first, I was like, man, my favorite part was I'm the lyrical Jesse James. Right? Hold on. Wait. Let me finish. So I said that to Sincere, and I said even joking, like, man, I might even ask him to say that. And see, you know, just to hit. So then I'm like really, really going back and into time and thinking. And I'm like, I said, wait a minute. That wasn't Chill Rob G that said
Don't ask him to say that.
I'm saying to myself, I'm thinking about this, like, you know, just because I'm, like I said, I'm replaying now the time. And I'm like, wait a minute, that wasn't Chill Rob G. So then it came to me.
Yeah.
What happened was that back then, when they came out with that version, we knew that they were biting. So we used to clown them all the time. And what happened was that lyric is what we used to clown about all the time. We used to be like, oh, I'm the lyrical Jesse. So what happened was that we used to say that all the time, you know, joking around.
Right.
But I literally confused it for a second to like, wait, why was it that I liked that lyric so much? And I remembered that's because we used to clown it all the time about that. I just wanted to share that with you because it actually got me a little mad about an hour ago because I was like, well, God damn, somebody could just come out and bite straight up like that. It was crazy.
I mean, and not for nothing, if I'm thinking back, like it was more than just him. It was maybe 2 or 3 other versions of the Power, right? And I was like, what the fuck? Like, how can y'all keep doing this? Why does gotta happen to me, man?
That's
There's a million hit records, man. Why don't fucking remind me? You know, I didn't get it, man.
So who produced who produced the beat though to your song?
To which song?
Let the words flow.
To let the words flow.
To let the words flow. It was right. That's what I thought. Yeah, so man, you take the combination of that beat and your rhymes. I mean, come on, man. At the end of the day, you saying why you? This shit was hot, bro.
Yeah, the acapella. See, you know what it was? We did the acapella, and we was in the studio rocking the acapella with just the hot. I mean, not to, you know, obviously I like my own stuff, right? But we in the studio rocking with just the acapella and the hi-hats playing. And that shit was still dope. We was like, yo, we kind of got something right here. We knew that back then. We didn't know you never know what's really going to happen when you release it to the world. You don't know. So, but we put it out there and that's what happened, man. This dude,
that's crazy.
This kid, he tells me he's from Texas, Anderson. He said he was in Texas. He got a hold of my acapella. He's the one who did the remix. This guy told me that he was working with Teddy Riley. He was part of the New Jack City, you know,
the New Jack Swing.
Yeah, the New Jack Swing, New Jack City, the New Jack Swing, you know that. So, yeah, that's where that's how he was working, and he just did a remix for fun. He was just messing with it, and he did that remix. I don't know. He said he doesn't know who or how that remix ended up with these 2 German dudes that are taking credit for the mix right now. So he got completely cut out of the picture altogether. Jocelyn Brown got jerked because she's the one who's literally singing I Got the Power from her record, Love's Gonna Get You. So, and then of course me, and wow, man. The music business, you hear that it's shady, but when you live in it, Jesus Christ.
Yeah, that's crazy, man. Right. Great. Did you guys ever cross paths? Like perform?
We had the same booking agent. We had the same booking agent. We was both working with William Morris Agency and Kara Lewis. And she called me up to the office. This is the first time she booked 100 shows with me. Never said, Rob, come in. This time she called me up. She said, Rob, I got a show for you in Miami. I need you to come into the office. For what? Please come into the office. I need to talk. Go up in there. She sits down, we talking, everything cool. She told me about her days. She used to ride around. And then she's like, look, we also book for the Snap. And it so happens that this coming weekend, your venue is about 4 blocks away from where he's going to be performing. I'm like, word? So why are you telling me this? If she didn't tell me, how am I going to know?
Right.
She told me that the dude we was both in Miami, and He's going to be close by. And, you know, be careful, Rob. Don't get into, you know, don't mess your career up, blah, blah, you know. Right. I'm like, yeah, well, thank you, Kara. I appreciate, you know, all the effort. Well, the first thing I did was I called my mans. I was like, yo, man, we got to bring the heat to this. We going to Miami. This nigga's going to be around the corner. So when we get to Miami, the first thing I did, I don't know how I managed to do it, but I found this guy's hotel. And it was literally walking distance from where I was staying. So we go over, we asked for his real name. It was Deron something, whatever his name was. They didn't, was he there? I don't remember if they said he wasn't there or he wasn't booked, whatever. He wasn't available. I didn't get to talk to him. All right. So a little disappointed. So, you know, we do our thing, you know, good show, whatever. And, we go back to the hotel. It's still kind of early for us. It's like, what, you know, midnight, whatever. So there's a club not far from us. So we walked over to the club. Place is kind of empty, whatever. We upstairs in the balcony, we chilling. It's about 2, almost 3 in the morning. All right, let's break out. We about to break out. And I look down over the balcony and this dude is right there. There he go. Like, how? God sent this guy here, man. Go downstairs. He's in there with my mans. I can't look, man. This is like 30 years ago. So
yeah.
I can't remember the bodyguard's name that was with him, but I knew him. He was my man's. I think I had booked him for a couple of joints. So I said what's up to him first. And I did that on purpose because Turbo was facing the bodyguard, and I wanted him to see me talking to your protection. Okay, so you know what's happening right now. So we go, what's up, man? It was good. You know, blah, blah, we having drinks, coming to the spot, blah, blah. Then I just turned around and looked at this dude. So, yo, what's happening, man? We need to talk. What you think? And he's like, hey, how are you? Hey, Rob, hey. I was like, come on, let's go outside. It's loud in here. Let's go outside and kick it for a couple of minutes, man. You know, ain't no thing. I mean, let's go. So my man's the bodyguard. He kind of already, you know. So he came outside with us. And I'm like, bro, just chill, man. I mean, come on, for real. And to be honest, between everybody that's listening right now, I didn't want to hurt that dude. I did not want to really do no damage to him. I'm not a violent cat. I'm just not. That's not who I'm. You know. Mm-hmm. But I'm trying to understand what's going on with you. Like, why are you digging in my pocket, man? So we outside. And dude, you know, he damn near broke into tears. He's telling me he don't have a contract. Who was putting his records out? Oh, Jesus. I think, Arista. Arista putting his records out. He don't have a contract with Arista at all. They putting out his records. The only money he's getting is the show money and, you know, pieces of that because he got to break off this one, that one, the other one. This is what he's telling me. I'm looking at this clown. I was like, so, yo, you really telling me that they just used you to fuck with me because you're not even eating off of this, man. You just really just ruining my shit. And he's like, hey, man, look, you know, I didn't know. They told me that this is his story. Mm-hmm. Somebody told him that Chill Rob G was part of Snap and decided to leave Snap and they needed somebody else to fill in. That's what they told him. So this is how he ends up lip syncing my record in Germany for a couple of months and then going to the studio and re-recording new lyrics and all this other shit. And it was something that like so a man is standing over there, he's ready to start work. I'm like, hey, chill, hold on. You know, just, you know, I mean, it was such a pathetic situation. I mean, it's like if you see like I mean, you know, you see like a dog or something and it's hurt, you ain't gonna kick it.
Right. He was, yeah.
And so we just left this fucking dude, and you know, and that was it. That was my intervention. That was my time meeting this guy. One time I saw him, that was it.
Wow.
Left him.
Crazy.
Yeah, man, it was fucking crazy.
So did Wild Pitch reissue that album, that single, The Power, at some point?
Wild Pitch, you know, was so disgusted with them. I really wasn't paying attention to what they was doing. But I do know that there was a few reissues of the record at least 3. It was on maybe one of those was on Wild Pitch. I know they re-released it on J Core Records. Came out again on some other label. Yeah, that's how that was going down. I mean, and I did make an effort to, I still had my relationship with Flavor Unit. I don't even know how to describe it right now. Like we're cool, but we ain't doing no business. But ain't nobody mad. Yeah, I guess Flavor Unit at this point is really just Latifah and Shakim, and they was in a position and they could do some things. So at one point, I was talking to them about getting the rights to the record, and then I would take the shit over and I would pay them back. But that never really happened. But we were talking about doing that. Okay. So that's how that was going down.
Did you ever reach a financial agreement with that situation at all throughout the years?
Nah, bro. Nah, I'm still pissed off. I'm ready to, do some shit.
Yeah.
Nah, man. No new financial agreement.
Hey, we're pissed off with you. So if you need
For real.
I just don't want to go to jail behind it. But I would love to have the money to spend,
Right.
It's my bread.
So what eventually happened with the situation at Wild Pitch?
Wild Pitch came back after the first album. They came back. They wanted to do another album. I didn't want to do another album with y'all. Y'all trash. Y'all treating me like garbage. I'm not working with y'all no more. Why would I go back? So it was a joke. They offered me this super duper low number. It's like like if you're working at Wendy's, this is what you would be making. And they offered me that as a budget. And, respect to people that work at Wendy's. But I'm in the music business. This can't be what you're offering me, man. But this is what they was offering me. So that was a spit in the face. And it really just go ahead and close the door. We done. After that. That was that.
Right. What about the relationship with Flavor Unit at the time?
Again, we was cool. We just wasn't doing business.
Okay.
It was cool. I actually went into the Flavor Unit office at one point, and I'm in there all day chopping it up with everybody. Everything was cool. It was all love. But I didn't have no new product, and it wasn't what it should have been. I'll tell you that. If it was me, I would have done things differently.
Right. So at this point, we're talking 1989, 1990. Where does Chill Rob G find itself at this point?
In 1990, I was still working. I was working heavy in 1990. I was on tour. This is in 89. I was touring Europe, and in 90, I started off 90 in Japan and Asia. I was doing a lot of running around, and at some point, that summer, I was on tour with Public Enemy and Heavy D, and up and down the East Coast. Big fun that summer. That was crazy.
That was
the next year, I was on the road with I think Big Daddy Kane had his new album out, and I did a few dates on his tour. So I was working a lot in the early 90s. I think I was working really steadily until maybe 94, 95. That's when things started to slow down.
Okay. Was there any new material between that 90, 95 period?
I mean, I had stuff, but I didn't have a label. And, I would record stuff with Mark, but then the 45 King, he was in a different place. And I don't know, things just kind of, look, if it happened today, I would know how to handle it. I would know where to move with it. But back then, we recorded a few records. They ended up with my man DJ Eclipse, who was working at Wild Pitch. Wild Pitch was still around, and I think even Wild Pitch might have wanted to put the stuff out, but I'm fucking done with y'all. You kidding? There ain't no fucking way. So that was that.
Right.
Just out of curiosity, when because at some point during the 90s, like me and Cecile, we always talk about how, a lot of the music changed to being a little bit more hardcore and gangster and all of that type of stuff. Did that affect you in any type of way? Or, as far as being inspired to put out music or anything of that nature?
I mean, it might have changed my mind about the stuff that I was doing, because when I released my album, we was all we was all positive and is pro black and you know, power to the people, right? But then Tupac said, "Fuck them niggas." And, you know, and I was on the road with him, and you know, and he spit a couple of bars back then. He wasn't that Tupac yet. He was, you know what I mean? He was doing the music that everybody else was doing at the time. By the time he got to his own album, that's when he started getting a little, you know, a little gully. Like, that shit was kind of, whoa, that ain't the dude that I was hanging out with.
Right.
You know, he was Bishop. Bishop was the one making all those albums. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, I mean, did it affect me? Yeah, it did. It did, because like I felt like I couldn't just keep going with the stuff I was releasing. Like, you motherfuckers don't want to hear that. Now y'all want to talk some grimy shit. All right. I mean, I could talk that shit, but would it really be me?
Right.
I mean, know, my belief is that every human being has the capacity to be all of that shit. Like, every one of us could be like the hardest killer or the nicest angel, you know what I mean, or whatever. So I could tap into that. I could get into my, you know, my ugliness, but that ain't what I wanted to do. And my son had been born during the process of me running around during the early 90s. So now, is this the legacy that I want to leave for my kid to be hearing? Yo, your pops was making some wild ass. I mean, it's just, I don't know, man. I don't know. A lot of different shit was going through my head. So yeah, it did affect me. It changes the way, you know, when I go in and start writing my shit, what am I going to say now? So yeah, there was a question mark there, no doubt.
How did you land over at Echo International?
The guy who owned that was his name was Jeff. Jeez, I can't remember Jeff's last name. But Jeff used to distribute our international stuff for Wild Pitch, and I met Jeff a couple of times at Wild Pitch. And so when he found out that my relationship had dissolved with Stu Fine and Wild Pitch, he knew another artist from Wild Pitch, a guy named Storm. And through Storm, he reached out to me and was like, "Yo, Rob, if you have any new material, we'd love to, you know, work with you and put the stuff out." And so that's how that went.
What kind of reaction did you get from the single "Let Me Know Something"?
A lot of people liked it, because I think a lot of people was just glad to see that I was still going. You know, oh yeah, that was yeah, because it had been a minute. Let Me Know Something came a little later than, you know, it should have, right?
Right.
So when the record came out, people was like, yeah, Rob, you know, stay at it.
So was a album in the plans at the time, or you just kind of working the singles during this time?
And at that point, I was thinking, if something catch fire, then I'll put an album behind it, because I had the material. Right. I really did. And I tried to just stay fresh. I tried to keep 2 brand new records every month. That was you know, my headset. That's what this is, my mind. This is what I'm gonna do. But you know, it didn't work out like that. So we did this record. It got, you know, some positive response, but not enough to make me move. You know what I mean? And I had reached a stage where I needed to keep some bread coming in. You know what I mean? Like, I couldn't just be out here. You know, I didn't want to get in the streets. I didn't want to do no wild shit. So yeah, fuck it, man. I went and got a job. And that became a big deal. Oh, this nigga Chill Ron G got a job. This nigga. So it was crazy, man. It was a wild situation, man. I'm standing there working, and dudes is running by like, "Yo, is you Chill Rob G?" You know? Yeah, man. Yeah, it's me, man. Yeah.
Are you seeing some tour dates during this time? You know, they usually have a nice tour from a certain era. Are you getting picked up for any of these throughout the years during this 95, 96 period?
No, not really. Not really. You know, during that period, it was a lot of hot shit coming out. Right, 95, 96. Now we talking about Busters out there. It was a lot of different rappers who was coming out, and the shit was dope.
Fugees.
So you really need Joe Rob G at this point. And I saw that. I was like, okay, you motherfuckers don't need me. It's all good. And I love hip hop, so I'm cool with it too. Like, the records is rocking. I'm eating. I'm fine. I'm alive. So, you know, I mean, I would say maybe for a whole year or two, I went through my whole, you know, denial and depression and, acceptance, and then finally I'm back. Right, I'm ready to just fucking live my life. So I went out, found myself some employment, got some income. I still got some money coming in from the album. Everybody can't say that, motherfucker. You got an album. So I was good. I was good. You know what I mean? Wasn't doing a lot of shows back then.
How did it feel?
Didn't even get back on stage until a random phone call from Special K or Teddy Ted. One of them called me and told me that they had a show that they was doing in Manhattan. And yo, Rob, come through, man. I was like, nah, man, because it had been maybe 10 years. I ain't been on stage. It's like, Rob, you need to come through, man, and do this show. Because I didn't have a DJ at that point. My whole state, like before that, everything had been built up and I had worked it all out. I had dancers, I had a DJ, I had opposite dancers. If you can't make it, I'll get this cat. I was ready to go back then. But then, all of that faded out. 10 years later, these dudes said, come and do a show. I didn't have no record. I didn't have no, we was using DAT tapes.
Yeah.
I had, what are they using? They got CD? I didn't know what, what I'm saying? I wasn't ready. But they put the bug in my ear again. Once again, somebody, got me going. I'm thinking, well, damn, I can get back on stage. So I started figuring out, the process, how I'm going to work it out. So it took a while. I didn't do that show, but a while after that, I finally started getting back on stage a little bit. And it wasn't that regular, man. It was like one show. 4 or 5 months go by, and then, yo, chill, Rob, we got a spot. I'm going to perform there. You know what I mean? Shit like that. That's how it was going down.
How did it feel to have trip hop artist Tricky cover your Bad Dream song in '96?
That was dope. I was surprised by it. Because I had already saw him. I really like that movie. Bruce Willis movie. He was in Fifth Element, and he's in this movie. And I'm like, yo, that's a rap artist. They tell me this is the rap artist from London, blah blah blah. And then this guy redid my song. I was like, oh shit. So it was cool. His version was definitely different. I wouldn't have done it that way. Have fun with it, man. Do your thing.
Financial compensation?
Little something.
Okay.
Little something. Not crazy, but
Right. You dropped Look Out Below and Higher on Truly Hype Recordings in '97. What was that situation about?
Working with different people. Like I said, trying to stay fresh. And my man told me he had a situation. And let's try to get something going. So I went in, recorded something. Over the years, if you do this long enough, you're going to find yourself recording in some weird places. So this cat, he had the mic set up in the tub. The mic in the tub. And because when you closed his, the shift the shower, the acoustics was really tight in there. So, fuck it. This is where I'm recording at right now, man. And that's what I did those 2 records.
Oh, that's dope.
All kind of shit going on. Recording in people's closets. Yo, Rob, go downstairs. The mic is downstairs. You upstairs on the next. Just a bunch of different shit you doing. So yeah. So that was like a little situation. We put out that, and once again, I always thought like if it catch fire and you need an album, I'm ready. I got some shit right here.
Right.
Let me know.
You dropped Whatever in 1999. At what point are we starting to see like there's an album that can come from all of this? At what point did you start preparing for Black Gold in 2000?
Never. Black Gold was never supposed to be an album. Black Gold was my man from Echo International, Jeff Collins. And Jeff knew I had all of this material. He knew I had all of these records. In fact, I think I was giving him the stuff. We were talking about an album, but we weren't, we talked about let's do an album. And that's all we said. So this dude happened to have these records that were singles and just did a little shady move on his own. Just put the shit together and put it out.
Unofficial.
Yeah. So I'm like, Jeff, what the fuck? So now we beefing. I told him to take the records down at one point. Because he had it up on iTunes and some other digital platform. I'm like, nah, man. So he cut me a check. It wasn't a ton of money, $5G, whatever it was, a little baby check. Rob, listen, I believe in this product. He's from London, so he got a little accent. It's funny talking to this guy. I believe in this product. We're gonna do something. We're gonna do great things. Trust me. So come here, a little disrespect, man. I let it rock. I let it rock. Black Gold was out there. And plus, once you release it, it's kind of too late. It's out there now. That's that. You can't pull it back, man.
Wow.
Yeah.
Man, Rob, what? Yeah, but I mean, I know you said before you wonder why these type of things happen to you, but it seems like you kept finding yourself in that type of situation somehow.
Yeah, well, twice.
Yeah.
Twice. But, it's all good. I'm getting a lot of bullshit popping up on my screen. All right, I'm good. I mean, yeah, it happened twice, man. You know what I mean? And I don't know. It's really possible to manifest shit positive and negative. And I think I was really worried about that type of shit. I was like so concerned because it was such a public humiliation that everybody saw me get jerked by these motherfuckers. Like, what? And I can't really do nothing about it. This ain't no street shit where you can, you can catch this dude and snuff him and nobody know nothing. Everybody know. So I was just concerned about that, man. Like I didn't want to sign no contracts. I needed the lawyer to look, and I need another lawyer to look and make sure this motherfucker ain't lying to me. I was shook, man. I was like, yo, I can't deal with these people. So I'm worried about that so much that that's what I'm attracted. You know what I mean? But finally, I'm good with that. Like I'm not even concerned with that at this point.
Right. Just out of curiosity, how do you feel about with your first album, right? Like me as a fan, when I hear stories like like what happened with you with that album and stuff like that, like it kind of gets me upset. I mean, I know how you feel, but it gets me upset. How do you feel about people listening, going and finding that album and listening to it? Like, are you okay, or do you feel like, hey, don't stream that, don't stream it or anything because I'm not really getting compensated for it? Like, how do you feel about that?
I mean, when I saw Dave Chappelle make that move he made with his Chappelle show, you aware that he went out and did a little talk about it, and he got people to not watch it on HBO. If I could do that, I would do that. But anybody, I'm gonna stop my Plus, it's not selling like that at this point. It's 2022, so it's selling. The curious listener, maybe people like y'all are telling people, yo, this cat show Rob, you need to check it, and then so I'll get a few sales. So it's still selling, but it's not like that. You know what I mean?
Right.
So. I mean, I'm happy for the people that listen. I know first of all, it's a good album. I like it as a listener because I'm a fan first. And so I'm happy people are getting the opportunity to hear what the art form could sound like, what it could be like, And I mean, it's some people think it's basic. Fine. I'm cool with that, whatever you think. But motherfuckers couldn't duplicate that shit back then.
Listen, man, the source was our Bible at the time. They had it down as one of the top 100 best albums.
They did.
Listen, man, it was a dope album, man. It is a dope album. The beats, the rhymes, your flow, your voice, everything, man. So again, as a fan, speaking from a fan's perspective, man, it's very frustrating when we get artists like yourself that we love and we yearn for more. You know what I mean? And then without knowing what the true backstory is, sometimes you're just like, man, what the hell? What happened? Where's Rob G at? Like, what's going on? So, knowing the story, it makes it even a little bit, you can kind of deal with it, but it still kind of makes it frustrating.
Yeah, it's not the best story, man. It's not like a happy, because the hero didn't necessarily win at the end. Not yet. But are we at the end yet? I don't think so. We're still playing this game. He's still in there.
Hell
so
yeah.
We'll see what happens.
Hell yeah.
In fact, I'm talking to some people right now. Stu Fine might be surprised in a few weeks. So we'll see what happens. Man.
Right.
You still inspired to pick up that pen though from every now and then and write something?
I mean, I got this album that's dropping in a minute. What time is it right now? It's not midnight. So, but the album will be out tomorrow.
Right.
So, to answer your question. Absolutely. During the pandemic, during the lockdown, everybody's in the crib. We all, it's a funky situation. Like the world is shut down for a minute, and it was kind of quiet. And so I took that opportunity to do what I do. Like when it's quiet, that's when I really start hearing the beats and the lyrics start popping off. So that's what I did. I started writing, some shit, and out of nowhere, Chuck D calls me up and was like, "Yo, man, I might have a situation for you if you want to work with this cat." And he told me about C-Doc. Who's the dude that produced the last couple of Public Enemy records. And I'm gonna put y'all together, man, and see what y'all could do. So, Doc called me up, sent me some tracks, and here we are. It's about a year later right now. So here we go. We'll see what that's like.
Mark the 45 Kings is also on it. Is that correct?
Mark is literally on the record. He's on one of the songs I have with Lakim, Double J, and 45 King is on this record. But Mark didn't do any of the tracks. Okay. Which I talked to him about, like, yo, what's good? Man? You do no tracks. So we'll see. I mean, I try to be a pest about it, but Mark is really hardcore right now, man. He's an older dude. Younger Mark was really sarcastic. So now older Mark is just this grumpy old motherfucker. Yeah. I mean, that's my dude. I love him, man, but he's hard, man. So we'll see though, man.
It's 2022. What was that recording process like? Way different from the days of old. How was it recording this particular project?
Well, the huge difference. I mean, over the years, I saw the technology change, so that wasn't like a shock at all. But the recording during a pandemic lockdown, the challenge is where you going to record? Who can you trust? Are these people any good? Do they have any experience? I'm in the studio with a dude who told me that everything was good. Everything is covered in plastic. The guy that owned the studio wasn't there. He got some kid. This is the kid's third session, he told me. He's not really an engineer, but he knows how to work the equipment. This is his third time doing it. He got, his face covered. I'm very coming until I get in front of the bike, then I'm ready to go, pull it off. And the headphones is fucked up. One side. So it was a lot of shit like that, man. It was a lot of like, this fucking guy don't know what he's doing. These headphones ain't right. Your mic sounds shitty. A lot of that. I had maybe 7 different engineers working on this project, but I did find enough solid dudes to get things going. Rest in peace to my man, Qasim Samad. He did like the bulk of it. He was the workhorse for me. I did half of the album at his studio in out here in Jersey, in East Orange. But then, he passed away, man. Mm-hmm. I don't know if it was
sorry about that.
But by the time the album was done, he passed away.
Jeez. Sorry about that, man. Condolences to the family.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
What's the title, man? Can we get a little like what's the title of the new album?
It's called Empires Crumble. Nothing Lasts Forever. It's like 12 joints on it. Like I said, I got one with like a chunk of the Flavor Unit on there. I got Chuck D on the record. The rest is me just popping shit. I talked about the situation that we discussed, with the whole Wild Pitch situation. I got a couple other records. I mean, it's cool. It's cool. I think people will be surprised. Especially from an old head, you thinking the nigga's old, he ain't really with it. Sit down.
And you said it's going to be out at midnight?
It should be out tomorrow, yeah.
Is that on all digital platforms?
It's on Spit Slam Entertainment, so it's out there.
You just made a fan happy as hell, man. I swear to God. I can't. Oh, man. I swear. Because I listen, 30 years is a long time.
Fuck yeah.
I went back and revisited the first album, man, and I'm like, oh shit, I forgot about that one, and I forgot it. Oh, I used to play that one all the time. So I'm talking about literally about 2 hours ago. You know what I mean? And wow. It just kind of, man, it just brought back a feeling that I kind of, forgot, man. And so now you're telling me you got some new stuff, man. I'm the happiest dude around right now, man. It's for real.
That's what's up, bro.
Absolutely.
I appreciate that, man. I mean, that's why you do it.
Sure.
That's half the reason you do it, especially back then, because you wanted to get on. You wanted the people to know that you was nice with it, man. All of those shows, I think about all of those shows we used to do, those basement parties. You wanted the people to know that you was nice with it. And I mean, of course, now we're trying to make money. It's a business. I'm not stupid. We're here to get bread. But I need the people to recognize I'm the motherfucker. You know what I'm saying? So that's
still got that competitive side to you.
I mean, because that's what the game is. You know what I mean? Well, that's what it used to be. I think with a lot of the new cats, they don't want to compete. So that's why they don't put too much effort into the lyrics. They don't want to disrespect their boy. I don't know.
I think part of it is also they don't want to kind of compete so that other one doesn't put their fire out either.
Right.
Everybody's sort of in their lane making their money. That's what they're thinking about. So they don't want anything to interfere with.
What's the kid with the braids and he got beads? His red hair. What the fuck is his name? You almost said it.
Yachty?
Yes. He was on I saw an interview the other day when he was on Breakfast Club and he was talking about, you know, how it ain't about that no boy, man. It ain't about lyrics and all of that. I just want to make some turned up shit and just say,
I saw that.
I was like, Jesus Christ, man, for real? Yo, come on, man.
It's different, man. It's different. Terrible, I think there's still some of it out there, obviously, but
but look, I mean, I think the game is broad enough that we can hold Yachty. We can have him in it. We can have all these other cats that don't really want to rhyme because there's so many, even the young cats, there's some spitters out there. You know what I mean? So the game is big enough. We can fit you in there. Go ahead, man. Do your thing. Follow your record if that's what you want to do. Whole song. That's what you want to do. Right. We can fit you in there, man.
That's dope, man.
Before we get out of here, can you touch just a little bit on the title Empires Crumble? What was the concept behind that?
We making a record during the pandemic, and the United States of America was looking really shitty. Like we couldn't handle it. I was looking at how the rest of the world seemed to be doing so much better than us. What the fuck? And this is one of the biggest empires in the world. And so I just thought about that. The fact that, empires do crumble. Like the Roman Empire is gone. That Chinese dynasty that we heard about is gone. All of these giant, you know what I mean? These empires all gone. They all crumble. It always happens. So I thought, damn, maybe this is our time. Fuck it. That's the title.
Right. Very dope. Very dope. Moving forward, after this project, what can we expect from Chill Rob G moving toward the future?
Hopefully more heat, man. I wanna get this album out of the way. Well, not out of the way, but I want to get it out to the people. Hope y'all like it, man. I got some other stuff. I got some ideas. I got some things I want to do. So, I'll just keep pushing forward, man. And not necessarily all music. I mean, I got some other talents. So we'll see how it works out.
Any plans on touring for this project and the old stuff?
Nothing definite, but there's been some talk. We talked about some things, so we'll see what happens. We'll see how it materializes. I don't want to start saying I'm gonna do this and then
Right.
Well, we're hoping for all the best to come your way, man.
Appreciate it, bro. Thank you.
For real.
Yeah. Thank you for the opportunity. If you'd like at this point to shout out your social media and once again where that new album is available at.
Chill Rob G. You can find me on all platforms, man. Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. And the new album is going to be available anywhere you can buy music, except Tidal, not on Tidal. But anywhere else, go right ahead. Chill Rob G is in there.
No doubt. Thank you again for the opportunity. Thank you for everything you've done for the culture. It's been a pleasure. Anything you need, we're here for you moving forward. And we will definitely spread the word about the new album, Empires Crumble, which is out at midnight, correct?
I believe so. Yes, sir.
All right. This has been Changing of the Hip Hop Guards podcast. I'm the journalist Sincere. That's my partner, Uncle E, and that is the legendary Chill Rob G. Thank you so much for the opportunity, Chill.
All right, man. Thank y'all. Peace.
Thank you, man.